Hey, how's it going? This is my second of two videos on setting up a live streaming solution for a small church or similar gathering. The first one was using the ATEM Mini and a few cameras. This one's going to be a little bit different, using OBS, some cell phones and the NDI software. What's that? Stick around and you'll find out. Hey there, great to see you again. Now, before I get stuck into this, I'd just like to ask you to hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more of these videos over time. Also, there's the like button and the share button and all those neat things. And of course, if you've got any questions about what's in this video or anything else, put them into the comment section below. I will get back to them. Okay, let's get stuck in. Now, in my previous video, we looked at live streaming an event out to an audience using wired cameras, a bit like this one here or this one here. And that's really convenient. It's fast to set up. These things are readily available, but the limitation that you have with them is the cable itself. You can only go from the Blackmagic ATEM Mini to the cameras with an HDMI cable, so you're sort of limited to a 10-meter radius, 10-meter range. And when you start running those around the sides of the room, you really don't have a lot of space to travel. It's okay for some setups, but in other setups, you want to be a bit more flexible and be able to move around. You might want to get through an audience with a camera. You might want a bit more range. And that's where wireless video really comes into its own. Now, to do this, I'm going to use a piece of software called OBS, which you're probably familiar with if you've been watching my videos. And I'm going to use cell phones as my cameras. Really easy. You can just take one of these little handheld things here, put the cell phone in it, and there you go. You've got a camera on a tripod and it can act wirelessly. The trick is the piece of software that you need to use both on the phones with a plugin that integrates with OBS, which lets you communicate between your phone and the software, and it does a really good job of it. I'll show you how that works. Righty-ho, so here's my phone. I've already unlocked it, and it's got an application on here called NDI. I'll just show you that one a wee bit closer. That's that icon right there, NDI, and what that is a little tool that turns your phone into a camera and talks to OBS, and it does this over Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do is just open that up. It's really easy, and I'm going to hit the record button. You can install this. It's a really cheap little app, easy to get hold of, no stress at all. And that's it, it's running. So I'm going to take this phone and this little tripod-y thing here. I'm going to put that into there. There you go. And you can see that it's running. It's got the little red button on it, and it can see a picture of me. Actually, I'll put it down over here. There we go, nice and tidy. And now I'm going to show you how to set this up in OBS as well. Now, I've got OBS running here on a Mac, so here we are in the OBS screen. As you can see, we've got the main output area here, the scenes, the sources, and an audio mixer, plus of course the transitions and the OBS controls. So what I'm going to do is add a source. I've got one default scene here, and I just want to add a video source to it. So I'm going to click there and choose NDI. I've already installed the NDI plugin into here. There's a link to that I will put into the description. You can click on that below to go and find it. I just create a new NDI source, and I'm going to call that one my iPhone 5, and I'll click OK. Actually, I think it's a 5S, isn't it? There we go. So that's my 5S, and then I can just click on a source name here, and Tim's work iPhone, that's what it is, and I will just leave all of that at the default values that it's gotten there, I think. Yep, that'll do for now, and I'll click OK. So that comes up there, and there it is, it's running. It's not exactly pointing at me properly. I'll just tilt that up a little bit, and it's running. You can see it in there. That's it really. You can see how easy this is, and now I've got a pretty good resolution, full HD phone sitting here, a full HD camera sitting here on my phone, ready to use, and I can set this up anywhere in event. It's got a huge advantage in its size as well, in that they're really small and portable, and you can put them anywhere, and they're quite discreet, so they're not getting in the way. You don't need a big camera and a big tripod and lots of cables running around the room, and the battery life on them is pretty good as well. But also you can string together a number of these things. So I've got another one here. There we go, and I can just turn that on and do the same sort of thing on this. So just turn that on, push the home button to open it up, and once again I've got the NDI software on here. If you just go into the App Store, by the way, and hit NDI, you can find that easily. This only works on iPhones, it's not available for Android. There's something that stops it from working properly in Android. And there we go, and I just hit that record button there. And I'll just put this one over to the side down here, slightly different position where it can kind of see the other one. Into OBS, I'll add another data source. This one here is just an iPhone 5. It's an older one. Actually, it might even be an iPhone 4. So I'm just going to call it iPhone 4. I'll click OK. You do need to make sure that the Wi-Fi is connected on the phone, which I'm just quickly doing on this one here. And I also highly recommend that if you're doing this in an area which is crowded, or a workplace or something like that, that instead of using the local Wi-Fi, you take a small access point with you, and you create your own private network for doing this. That way you're not going to get congested with traffic or anything like that, or end up with bandwidth problems or bad routers and hubs. So you can do all of that. Anyway, I've just added that to the Wi-Fi. I can just double click on here, and there we go. There's the next phone. I actually already called it an NDI phone because that's what I use these for. And click OK, and there's my next data source. Comes straight up there. As you can see, it's actually a pretty good quality image, and I don't have particularly high light levels in here. So if I turn that around so you're looking at me, you can see that this is giving a perfectly serviceable image, especially for a mobile low-cost live stream. Now, one of the really great things about a setup like this is that it works with these old iPhones. It's great with them. It has no problem working with them at all. As you can see, these things are an iPhone 4 and an iPhone 5S, and you can pick them up now because they're obsolete for most people's purposes. You can pick them up for like $50 or $100 each. They're cheap as chips, and for the quality of camera you get when you're buying these things, they're absolutely fantastic. You can also use the 11 Pro Max like I've got here. Now on my iPhone 11 I can hit this other application here. It's a different NDI cam application which has got a few more features for the newer phone. I can just tap on that. This brings this up here, and as you can see, I've got a whole screen of different things that I can set up. I can set up different frame rates and all sorts of bits and pieces, but what I'm going to do is just leave it in its normal settings. It's already live, and all that sort of thing. The quality is at a higher priority to the speed. Generally you don't need to change that. And now I can come back into OBS, and I'll make that one there a bit smaller again. As you can see, these are really easy to drag around and organize. I'll create another source, NDI once again, and I will call this one iPhone 11 because it's my iPhone 11. And same thing again, there's my iPhone 11 NDI cam. Click OK, and here we go. It comes up with another image. Obviously the better the iPhone you've got, the better the image you're going to have for output and all that sort of thing. But as you can see, these older cams, older iPhones, are perfectly serviceable. This one here's the iPhone 4, this one here's the 5S, and this one here's the 11 Pro Max. There's a difference, but when you can pick these up for $50 or $100 second hand each, people are throwing them away quite literally because they're not of much practical use to them anymore. So you can grab these off people. If you've got a friend that's upgrading or something like that, then that's a perfect opportunity for you to say, hey, I'll get that phone off you because I can use it for my wireless mobile camera setup for live streaming or monitoring a drone or something like that. That's another great thing these are for. And also just setting them up to monitor a camera sometimes. You can, say if you've got a GoPro rig or something like that, you can do this same sort of thing and monitor a GoPro Pro. These old phones that people are getting rid of, grab them. These things have got a hell of a lot of life left in them, and you can use them for all sorts of neat things. But anyway, as you can see down here, the last bit I want to point out, like I did in the previous video, is you've got 3 audio sources here. Now, you can set it up in OBS, and I'm not going to go into too much detail now, so that when you're switching between these things, if you set the different cameras up on different scenes, for example, you can pick which one you want to have the audio through. You could choose just to have the audio on one camera and on one of the phones and like stick to that. So I know that the iPhone 11 Pro Max has got a superior microphone in it to the others, and if I want that to be my main camera, then I can just mute these 2 channels here, and then all of my audio is just going to come through that one. If you do have all 3 of them on, then what you're going to do is a little bit of latency problem. I'm just going to wait for a second here for these levels to calm down, and then I'll snap my fingers and you'll see that they all sort of jump up at different times. And one of them barely did it all. Actually, the sync isn't too bad in there, but it is a little bit out. So once again, you do need to take audio into account when you're doing this sort of thing. If you really want to up your game with the audio, you can get the Rode Video Micro L mic. This is a little lightning microphone. It's this one right here that I'm putting up on screen. That'll plug into the lightning port on your phones and give you really high quality audio through each of these devices as well, so however you want to set that up. You can also set this up so you've got a hybrid of this NDI wireless system plus the ATEM mini going into your computer, so you as another video source, and you can put overlays, you can put presentations, slideshows, whatever, more wired microphones, more wired cameras into the ATEM mini, and have all of that coming through together and bundle it all up in OBS and come up with some absolutely fantastic things. And of course OBS will stream all that out to anywhere you want to stream it to, whether it's YouTube or Twitch, or if you're on a network inside an organization, you can send it straight to a streaming server that they might have on their own local network. All that sort of thing, really easy to do. This setup is really cheap. You can just use phones that you've already got in your pocket, or second-hand phones from people. You can use cheap cameras. This is just such a simple thing to put together, and the software as well is free, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I hope this has been really helpful to you, and you've been able to sort of get an idea of the sort of thing that you can do as well with all of this sort of stuff, and I hope it's really sparking some real enthusiasm for going out and doing some live streaming. If it is, click on the subscribe thing down here, partly so that you can see my other videos, and also so you can give me more feedback when you try this stuff out, and also watch this video and this video here, because they're going to help you out as well, and I'll see you later.